Well, when it comes to the CFP in Cincinnati, all you have to do is keep on winning and you should be good. Another big weekend for the Bearcats, able to play their best game of the year as they rode SMU 48-14. Outside of that, there might have been one less roadblock standing in their way after Oregon let Utah just give them an old-fashioned beatdown 38-7, essentially eliminated in the Pac-12. So since he's still in the hunt, that's possibly that first team out of the group of 5 to make it into the college football playoffs. Taking a look here, Jerry Baum with the latest projections of how it might look tonight there. Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama. You can plug them in the last couple of weeks there. Cincinnati checking in at number 4, followed by Michigan, Notre Dame, and looking at the top 12 here, Oklahoma rounding out those rankings there. Time to bring in the man of the hour, our own Jerry Palm here. And Jerry, you have the Bearcats in your CFP projections. Chance the committee feels that same way later on tonight.
Pretty good. Really, the only thing that could keep Cincinnati out of the top 4 tonight is if the committee felt like they needed to move Michigan ahead of them. That doesn't matter to Cincinnati long term because the loser of Ohio State and Michigan is going to end up below them anyway. But I felt like there was a case for Michigan to be ahead of Cincinnati based on strength of schedule the last 2 weeks. But this week, Cincinnati played SMU and beat them pretty soundly, and Michigan played a pretty moribund Maryland team and also beat them soundly, but nothing really happened this week that would move the needle in Michigan's favor. So I'd be a little surprised if they jumped Cincinnati this week.
All right, let's stay your top 4 there, where you have Ohio State and Alabama and your projections at 2 and 3, both 10-1. But if we're looking at the body of work here, who has the better resume to you?
Well, I'm leaning Ohio State at the moment. Alabama has not really played like Alabama. I mean, they're winning, and sometimes they win big, but more often than not, they just seem to muddle through games and manage to win, like Saturday. It was a more comfortable win than the score would indicate. Arkansas got a lovely parting gift touchdown with about a minute to go, but it was, it's not the kind of numbers that Ohio State is currently putting up on people. So there's a little recency bias, perhaps, in my projection of Ohio State number 2 over Alabama, but they're very similar resumes right now, and you can kind of flip a coin. Of course, the difference is, Alabama's going to get a shot at Georgia eventually, whereas Ohio State is the target in the Big Ten.
Yeah, of course, the SEC, you got Georgia, as you mentioned, number 1 team in the land, so that would make that resume look a little bit better the closer we get to the end of the season. Let's stay in the Big Ten, though. Michigan State, not helping their case, rolled by Ohio State, their second loss of the year. How much does this kind of hurt Sparty looking down the road here?
Well, it could knock them out of a New Year's Six game. I don't think they're going to be out of contention this week, but they have a very important home game with Penn State this Saturday that they really need to win if they're going to stay in contention for a New Year's Six berth. And that would be an impressive win. I mean, Penn State may or may not be in the rankings, probably not. But that's a team that's a borderline top 25 team right now. And I think that a win for Michigan State might propel them into the New Year's Six, but it's going to be a close call come next week for the Spartans either way. What happened to with them to Ohio State? The 56 points was expected. It's the 3 that they were only able to manage 3 points with their offense against Ohio State's defense is really the impressive part of that result.
Now, what you want to see is we did see Saturday there. Let's move to the Big 12. If we're looking at that conference and you're looking at the teams, are we like, all right, you know what? Let's just wait for next year. This is not going to pan out for us this year, the CFP.
Well, it's not entirely true, but they have to have a 12-1 team, which means that either Oklahoma State has to win these next 2 or Oklahoma has to win these next 2. And obviously it can't be both. They play each other Saturday and might rematch next Saturday. So, they've got to have somebody step up and be a 12-1 team, and then they've got a shot. But they're not going to pass Georgia. They're probably not going to pass Alabama, even with 2 losses, although they could because conference championships matter. They're probably not going past Cincinnati. So they're going to need a little bit of help at 12-1 even to get into the playoff, but at least it gives them a shot to get into the college football playoff. And I don't necessarily think they need to worry about 11-1 Notre Dame. I think 12-1 Big 12 champion squeaks in ahead of 11-1 Notre Dame.
Jerry, if you're looking at it right now, who gives them the best chance out of those teams you just mentioned to possibly squeak in there?
Well, I think Notre Dame is the worst chance. Cincinnati, I think, is actually in as good a shape as they can possibly be in right now. About the only other thing that could happen for them that would be big would be a 2-loss Big 12 champion or a 2-loss Big 10 champion would probably lock up a spot for Cincinnati, but we're at least a week away from finding that out. They just got to take care of their own business.
All right, so there's always a chance, Jerry. We all know that. There's always a chance. As always, my friend, appreciate your time tapping in on the latest CFP that we'll get later tonight. By the way, those odds to win it all from our friends from CBS Sportsbook. Yes, Georgia's been the favorite there, minus 120, followed by Ohio State and Alabama at plus 300 and plus 400. And then, hello, the Bearcats at plus 3,000. And then Michigan? All right, plus 5,000. I'll take it. Why not?
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.